Opposition leader, the Honorable Anim Eustace, has voiced his suspicion with regard to the recent statement from the SVG Bureau of Standards stating that importers are now subject to an environmental levy on certain canned and bottled products into the country. Eustace says the release issued by the Standards Bureau gives the impression that this is a recently implemented amendment to the standards laws. Eustace says, however, that provision was made since 2006 for the environmental levy of 50 cents per can or bottle imported here. The opposition leader explains that these laws have had several amendments in the past and is questioning why it was only sent out to the public in September. He is also questioning why new amendments have been implemented, while suggesting that it may be a measure to make money for the government. Mr. Eustace is of the view that the matters must be reviewed. The NDP leader says he hopes there will be a delay so there will be some reasonable measures implemented. According to Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves, Vincentians may not have the option of seeking asylum by way of refugee status in Canada in the near future. Gonsalves says it has come to his attention that Canada plans to implement measures to disregard refugee status applications for certain countries, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Gonsalves says he had previously made a similar suggestion in a letter written to Canada's Prime Minister Stephen Harper around the time that the Canadian government imposed visa requirements for Vincentians entering the country. According to the Prime Minister, exceptions would only be made in extreme circumstances. He stated that if what he suggested is implemented by the Canadian authorities, under the condition that the Vincentian passport is safe, there will be no need for a visa imposition on this country. The Canadian government had previously expressed dissatisfaction with the reliability of the Vincentian passport. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard is now in possession of a Global Maritime Distress Safety System, or GMDSS, which will go toward the increased safety for maritime traffic in Vincentian waters. GMDSS is a set of safety and communication protocols, along with types of equipment used to increase safety while at sea. The safety system will help ships in distress communicate with the Coast Guard. The handing over of the new technology to the Coast Guard came through the efforts of the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, or NTRC, and the Universal Service Fund. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Administrator of the Universal Service Fund, Kyron Duncan, says the successful implementation of the project came about after years of dedicated work to the cause by the NTRC in collaboration with several stakeholders. He adds that the system will develop the Coast Guard in its operations and aid in the quick response to distress calls. 14 members of the Coast Guard are being taught to properly operate and maintain the system. The Vincentian delegation at the 67th session of the United Nations General Assembly held in New York used the opportunity to strengthen diplomatic and diaspora relations. The delegation representing SVG and headed by Prime Minister Gonsalves was involved in several meetings to discuss pertinent issues with representatives of 15 countries. The Vincentian delegation held discussions with countries from Africa, Europe, North America, the Pacific, and the Middle East. The delegation and representatives of the different countries discussed a number of areas relating to practical and political cooperation, including investment opportunities, scholarships, sports, technology transfer, and assistance in the construction of the Argyle International Airport. Meanwhile, the representatives of Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates have extended invitations for Gonsalves to visit their respective countries in the near future for further discussions regarding how these countries may assist SVG. More local stories when we come back.